Hey everybody, Mr. John here from the Meredith Public Library, back at you once again with another episode of the Quarantine Theater. Today we have a second installment of What's Mr. John Reading? So I went up, I was looking at my bookshelves today, trying to figure out what I might want to read. And I was really drawn to the picture books today. As a children's librarian, my life is full of picture books, and it's something I really love reading. They're fun, they're entertaining, but really it's the art. And I'm going to take a look at a couple artists today that I just absolutely love, that are capital A artists in my book, just top of the line illustrators that I really love. So top of my stack today, let's see, what do I want to read? We have the true story of the Three Little Pigs. This is a classic. This is by John Scieszka, illustrated by Lane Smith, the same duo that brought you The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Tales in 1992, which, let me tell you, really shook up the Interlake Elementary School library in the early 90s. This is the first book I ever put a hold on in my life. Super great book. And then their lesser known but equally as entertaining Math Curse. A lot of fun right there. These are all really funny books, really entertaining. They are a little longer form, so we're closer to a read aloud is going to take a little longer than something simple. There's a little more text to these, so it's not a beginner picture book. I really love John Scieszka. Mostly, primarily, I mean, I love these books, and it took me a little while to figure out, despite the pretty rare last name, that it's the same guy that started the Guys Read Initiative in 2001. These are great. It's a series of short story collections aimed towards guys. They really want to create self-motivated, lifelong readers out of our young boys, and it's really, really awesome. Great series. Again, they're short story collections. There are 6 or 7 of these now, all by tons of different great authors. You're really going to enjoy those. And I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Tommy, who first introduced me to these. Thank you, Tom. All right, up next, he also has the Time Warp Trio. This is a series of early chapter books by John Scieszka. So I love when authors do this. We can, really hook the kids with picture books early on. Then we've got some early chapter books by an author they already know and love, and then we can go into Guys Read, a little higher reading level, so they can stay with an author they're comfortable with as they progress through the reading level. It's really great. John Scieszka also has some really good nonfiction. This is a memoir he put out, Knucklehead. Whole thing's designed to look like an old comic book. I really like that one. So he really covers all of his bases. Now, before we leave this slide, I would be remiss if I did not mention there is a Tribe of Kids, illustrated by Lane Smith. Beautiful, beautiful book. Really love that one. But anyway, first book was The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. So that's a definite possibility. Let's set that aside. What's next? All right, we've got Johnny Appleseed by Stephen Kellogg. This is one of the tall tales that he retold and illustrated, including Paul Bunyan, one of my favorites. Gotta love that one. And he's also got a bunch of really good illustrated fairy tales that I enjoy. You can't really tell, the cover's a little dark, but the giant in Stephen Kellogg is more of like an ogre and is really grotesque. And that's what I love about Stephen Kellogg, is we have a really good mix of just beautiful, beautiful art and some like kind of grotesque children's book illustrations all at the same time. This is a couple of pages from Johnny Appleseed, and it's beautiful. The way he uses the apples in the foreground to frame this this cabin in the back. There's always tons of little action going on. You can see all the little kids. There's a person on the roof, and always stuff going on in his illustrations. They're super detailed. This is a book that, if you want to just read the text, it'll take you a little while, but you could spend a day pouring through these pictures. They're super detailed and amazing. So Johnny Appleseed, Stephen Kellogg, definitely going on the maybe list. I love that one. So what's next? Up next, I've got a stack of books by my favorite illustrator of all time, Trina Schart Hyman. This is a self-portrait of her right there. It's a name not many people know. And she is, like I said, without a doubt, my favorite illustrator. You might have seen some of her fairy tales that she's illustrated. Little Red Riding Hood, I guess, is one of her favorites. You can see she got Caldecott honors for that one. I read in an interview that was the book that she wanted to illustrate more than any other. She was a big fan growing up. She says she even spent a year wearing a red cape around as a child. So she was really excited for that one. So those are great, retellings of these fairy tales. Beautiful, beautiful illustrations. I was a big fan of her her knight tales. The Kitchen Knight is an Arthurian legend. I believe the Water of Life is as well. And these were just absolutely beautiful. But the book that I have on my stack today is her 1985 Caldecott winner, George and the Dragon. This was the book for me. I was just the right age, 9, 10, when this came out, and it was just perfect. I mean, look at this. That page is stuck in my head. I will never forget that illustration of St. George on his horse rearing back for this dragon. The dragon's got like rivets on its chest plates here. It's amazing. And what you don't see from this frame, the dragon's tail then loops onto the next page and is part of the border art. You can kind of see she's got some border frames set up here, but the action in the main frame is so big, it's swelling into these other frames. She uses borders a lot like someone you might know, Jan Brett, who has these intricate borders around her illustrations that may just contain, overflow from the current story, or action from other panels, other things going on. In this St. George and the Dragon panel, the dragon's tail goes on to the next page and becomes that border art. It's so big, kind of gives you a better sense of scale there. So this is just beautiful, beautiful art. I absolutely love every book she's ever illustrated. So I think St. George and the Dragon's going to the top of my stack for today right now. That is our front runner currently. All right, last book on my stack. Oh, okay. This is by an author and illustrator you might not know. This fella right here, Bruce Whatley, born in Wales, moved to Australia, got his start with The Ugliest Dog in the World, based on his actual family dog. You might have seen this cover for Teddy Bear's Picnic. This is a really awesome book. He worked with Jerry Garcia, yes, that Jerry Garcia, who had slightly rewritten the lyrics to Teddy Bear's Picnic. It was one that Jerry liked to play, and they worked together and created this illustrated book. So that's Bruce Whatley and Jerry Garcia's The Teddy Bear's Picnic. I was also a big fan of this as a kid, Whatley's Quest. This is a wordless alphabet adventure. So there's no text or anything. It's just pages and pages of these wacky, complex illustrated adventures. Really, really great. So I have a little confession right now. The reason that I'm such a big fan, and the reason that I have a signed copy of that magnetic dog, is that in the mid-90s, Bruce moved his family to the Lakes region while he was working on a book, and I became good friends with his son, Ben. So in honor of Ben Smith Whatley, all of the spaceships he drew me, and the time he spent letting me play Pokemon Red on his Game Boy, today I will read That Magnetic Dog by Bruce Whatley. So thanks again, Ben. Hope things are well on the other side of the globe. And that's what I'll be reading today, That Magnetic Dog by Bruce Whatley. It's a sunny day. I got a picture book. Everything's good. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes of Quarantine Theater coming at you in the future. All right, everybody, be safe out there. Take care of each other, and have a great day.